going. First, this is actually our second game for Platinum League. We did our first game in Platinum League yesterday. This is a solid starting hand. And we're 2 lands away from our collected company, and the extraction specialist is just bonkers awesome. Brutal Cathar as our removal spell. Let's go ahead and keep this hand. See what our opponent is going to be playing. Start off with our Thraben Inspector, play it into Alia's Lieutenant, and then we'll go from there. See if we can get some action going. They play the Triumph. Okay. We are going to catch out of the bag. We were playing humans. I'm sure they figured that out already anyway. But let's send them. He's playing Teamer. This could be Elementals. We do need a land now. The next thing we need is a land. We don't have a lot of value. We could play General Kudrow, pump up our team. There's our land. This is going to come into play. This is great because our extraction specialist will actually be able to bring back our Thalia's Lieutenant. If it comes to that. The Fatal Passage doesn't do anything because the land that they get comes into play tap. So they could do something like Anger of the Gods us on next turn. Would be painful, but 9 power on the board, and we have a removal spell in our hand with our Brutal Cathar. So they are tremendously on the back foot here. They do need help. I don't know if there's enough that they're going to be able to do to play another Triumph. Since they didn't do anything, we're actually going to play our bodyguard, and we're going to force some action. We're going to protect General Kudrow. He's making everybody bigger anyway. We're going to eat the card in their graveyard. Alia's Lieutenant gets bigger. And then we're going to swing in for 10. Binding. Okay. Can't do anything about this. It is what it is. What is their target? They're going to take the Thalia's Lieutenant. Yeah. We can't really do anything about that, so it is what it is. We're swinging in for 6 now. We will be able to crack the clue at the end step. We could have tried to crack it there to find a land, but it didn't really matter either way, and we didn't have a play. So at least this way we kind of bluff that we may have something. It looks like they're playing some kind of 5-color deck because they're playing this Binding. But currently they've shown 4 colors, so they got the 3 colors here: red, blue, green, and then white. Baffling End. Gonna take one of our creatures from us. Looks like we're gonna be bringing in some sweet interaction with destroying these enchantments here. Swinging for 4 damage now. He's not out of the woods though. This may seem like we might be in some trouble, or that he might be like kind of stabilizing. But if we draw a land in the next 2 cards, we can Collected Company and just run him over. And that's what we're going to attempt to do here. We're going to go ahead and crack this clue. Draw a card. Thraben Inspector, not what we needed, but that's okay. There's our land. He's tapped out. We're just going to go in for the kill. There it is. There's the kill. And we'll put this on Darian and swing in for 6. Illegal blocks. Try again. We're clicking as he was going through the motions of leaving the game. We're definitely going to bring in the Outland Liberators and bring in these Kitesail Freebooters. I think I'm just going to drop 1 and 1 of the Thraben Inspector and the Dauntless Bodyguard. A lot of the effects that he was using was exile, so maybe actually we're going to take out the Dauntless Bodyguard and we're going to keep in the Aspirant. He was just exiling our stuff anyway. If he starts doing the destroy effects, then, you know, we can start thinking it elsewhere. Another great idea to bring in here is Thalia. We saw a lot of effects that were just non-creature spells. You didn't see any creatures, but that doesn't mean that they don't have them. I can drop 1 and 1 here. This person doesn't look like they're playing any sort of graveyard deck. So we'll bring in the Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, to try to put some pressure on them not playing just regular spells, playing all non-creature spells. And I think this is how we're gonna send it. We're gonna ship it back like this, bringing in a lot of hate cards. They didn't seem to be playing a graveyard deck, so the Kudro over King Darien. We keep King Darien, both being lords, so we can keep the King Darien over Kudro. This is a fine hand. Double Kite Sail, and they mulligan. We're definitely going to keep this. With them mulliganing, this means we're going to get another card out of their hand too. This is not as an aggressive start as the last game. This is definitely going to let us see what they're doing though. We don't have a turn 1 play. This comes into play tapped, so we're just going to go ahead and put this in. Actually, I'm going to put this into play tapped. There's no reason to not. We can play this next turn, and then this will be the following turn as our lands. So we're good on our mana base. Nothing's going to shock us. We're not going to take any extra damage as we do this. We're up a game right now. Playing against some... to me, this looked like some enchantment deck. I'm really unsure what they were doing. I don't know if they're playing 5 colors. It looks like they're playing 5 colors. Or at least 4 colors. Right. Now we're going to go name human here. We're going to take a look at their hand. Try to catch them off a little bit. Okay. This costs 1 less for each basic land type, and they have... It costs how much? 3? Currently they have 3 land types. Okay. Their next land, they'll be able to play this. I think we're just going to take that, and then next turn we can take the Incarnation. This doesn't give them an extra land, does it? Just changes the colors. Okay. Yeah, we'll just take this. This is a actual combo deck. We figured out that they got this card right here is the combo card, the combo piece that they need. Unfortunately, we can't play 2 cards. We're just gonna go ahead and take that from them, though. We don't want them playing it. They can start doing some really gross stuff to us. Let's see what they're gonna do here. Is there other land type? I think they can... No, they can't. Still can't. Oh, yeah, they can. They can play it. They're gonna take one of these from us. Sure. I guess let's just go ahead and take this. And we'll pass it back to him. May have missed a point of damage there. Wow, look at this. They just keep drawing them. Get all the leyline bindings. They will be able to play... What we're going to do here is we're going to go Thalia into other Thalia, Guardian into Lieutenant. They may have slowed us down just enough. They're going to be able to play. They're going to give us the Kite Sail freebooter back. So we're going to get a look at their hand, but I don't know what they're going to get. We can actually exile this, so it's not a huge deal. They are going to get that 3/3. This makes it indestructible. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. We can actually get around this card. Play our Brutal Cathar. We'll have some 3/3s and swing with everything if we'd like. Are they gonna sack it? Try to save it? They could tap something down, I guess. It's not an activated ability. It's a triggered ability, so they can tap this Brutal Cathar down. I think that's what they're trying to determine. Can they tap it? They can, but this is a triggered ability, not an activated ability. And so this will still work. It still works in my favor. It's just, will they keep the blocker or not? That's the question. Okay, they have determined that they do not want to do that. Yeah, it was a bad play. They didn't want to do that. And we're actually just going to come in with the 3/3 and the 3/2 and the 1/2. We're not sending Lieutenant just yet because he's going to pump. They can do that again, that same play with this binding. They can do it with this as well and get another card. Skyclave Apparition, okay. We're going to take our Brutal Cathar and get more stuff. Okay, so we're going to Collected Company here. We're going to try to race them. We don't have too much of a choice. Perfect. We're actually going to take this and this. We're going to be able to get rid of that a card. We can't do anything just yet. We'll just swing in. But we will be able to destroy these this incarnation. They're going to get one more. I don't think we're actually going to be able to race this anymore, unfortunately. We're going to need to play both cards in our hand, which we can do. So we can flip the brute. We'll take 6. We're in kind of a bad spot here because of that incarnation. They're just able to get so much value out of it. There's no reason for them to not sack because I'm sure that last card in their hand is a land. They decided not to, so. Darian. We need 2 lands. Or we need a land, that's what we need, so we can play 2 spells. We can send this guy in to his death, which is what we're actually going to do here. When they block, we can play the specialist to bring him back. He can just block with one of these, any of his creatures. He just blocks with a 7/7, it doesn't matter. Because we're unable to create enough blockers here, I think we're just dead anyway. They didn't even block with this. We could play King Darian here. Oh, they haven't chose to block yet. That was an attack trigger. Oops. If they block, we actually get that guy back, which is fine. Sure. Our specialist, which then brings him back. It's our lieutenant bigger. This doesn't really save us. He can actually just tap stuff down with his coma coils, and he's gonna win. He just needs to attack with everything. Like, not attacking with everything is silly. Sure, we'll take 6. We don't care. There is a... I mean, the coma coil thing is going to kill us because they're just going to be able to tap everything down. We can actually go play 2 spells. I don't think that saves us, though. It will make us big enough to block the Titan of Industry, but he just taps stuff down. We flip this on their upkeep and take the coma, so it means they have to tap everything down immediately. Sure. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if this actually maths out correctly. If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, then it's fine. But I'm gonna let them do the math. I'm not gonna do the math. This actually lets our Thalia's Lieutenant block Titan of Industry. And because it's 2 spells in 1 turn, our cards will flip. So we'll see what they do. They can just tap everything down. We're gonna take the coma from them, which they allowed us to do. They didn't even respond. Why didn't they respond? I think that's a misplay. Yorian, okay. Got the Sky Noodle. What is he gonna do with the Sky Noodle? He's gonna give us back our Brutal Cathar if he gives and takes the Skyclave Apparition, I think. Or he's gonna take something else. I really don't know what's going on here. Get the guy's Sail Freebooter back. We get to look at their hand. We got lands. Cool. I mean, we're not in a spot where we're just like winning or anything. I think if they take the Brutal Cathar from us again, like, we just kind of concede because there's no real reason to not. I should have actually destroyed this too, the ley line. I really don't. I have no idea what they're doing here. They had us on the board anyway, and they're just gonna take the coma coil again. Or they're going to take our Brutal Cathar to get their coma back. I mean, they might take Thalia's Lieutenant, but... What is this going after? Okay. I'm very I really don't know what they're doing right now. I'm very confused. Like, I'm extremely confused. They had the game on the board. They just sack the creatures and tap our stuff down. Sure, we'll play this giant 10-5. I guess we make it to where they can't attack with their guys. With the Yorian, we make it to where we have favorable blocks again, I guess. I really don't know. I have no idea. We just need another Brutal Cathar, I guess, to take the Titan of Industry, and then we can start attacking. I'm very confused here. Like, very confused. Now that we have this actually makes it really, really nice for us. We can just play this. And now we can actually attack with our guys. Which we're going to. Make Thalia a little bit bigger. We're going to swing here and here. They're indestructible now, by the way, if you aren't familiar with General's Enforcer. So we'll see if they're familiar with General's Enforcer. Throwing away coma coils. Not throwing away coma coils. Wow! We got there. They were familiar with Enforcer, I guess. Coming to game 2. We're currently 1-0. To play first. This is a pretty slow hand. They are playing the Sky Noodle. Yorian. To be honest with you, I don't think this is good enough. If we play Dark Boar Pathway on green for Collected Company, we can't play General Kudrow because it's black. I think I'm just gonna throw this one away. There's no reason. Yeah, this is much better. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think what I'm going to do here is I guess I'll just put back the Godless Shrine. It does slow us off of Collected Company, but if they're playing Yorian, there's only a couple decks that really play Yorian. Most of them are value-based decks. Sleeve's pretty sweet. And if they're the value-based decks, then we need to actually get on the board and start doing things to them. We can't just sit back and do nothing. Similar to the deck we played in the last game. This could be a blue-white control. I've seen blue-white with like these effects, and then they use the Yorian to bounce them and pick the targets later, like change up the targets they want to hit. We're just gonna play the General Enforcer. It's not exactly what we want. Like I said, we're gonna be missing the land drops here, which isn't ideal. Go ahead and swing in for 4. See what they do. I may just crack the clue, to be honest with you. Try to draw, because this is a counterspell mana. We haven't determined whether or not they're a control deck. They could be a control deck. Yeah, this is what most of the control decks are doing. This sort of a play pattern. Hit them for 2 again. So we got to be paying attention to like Supreme Verdict and things like that. I'm gonna risk it, crack the clue. See if we can get a land. Maybe we can play another Thraben Inspector. There we go. Land off the top. And play another Thraben Inspector. So now we can just kind of beat in. See what happens. We really don't have anything here. They are 1-for-1ing us, so this isn't where we want to be at in the game. You don't want to be in this 1-for-1 scenario, but it is what it is sometimes, you know. We'll crack the clue again. Found a Temple Garden. We're just gonna put it into play tap. They're looking for cards. Now we've got a good spot where we can do nothing, like we can play nothing, and then Collected Company, like let them try to determine, you know, what we're doing. For 1, I'm gonna play just to put some pressure on the board. I'm gonna play this Brutal Cathar. Let's see if they like try to counterspell it or anything. We do need to run them out of cards in hand. And then we're gonna play the Dauntless Bodyguard on the Brutal Cathar. So if, you know, we can keep it around if they want to Supreme Verdict us. They're thinking about it right now. Okay. We're just gonna put it on our Brutal Cathar. Kind of make us look like we don't have anything. We don't want to give up the play pattern of we don't have anything. Like next turn, we could just pass the turn. Like play a land, pass the turn. And they may be like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't have anything. So here's the Supreme Verdict that we were talking about. We're gonna go ahead and activate this. Keep our Brutal Cathar around. This just allows us to keep pressure on the board. Okay, he wanted to destroy our creature. He didn't want us to have anything. This is where we're going to try to value a little bit. We're going to play our collected company on his turn. It's unfortunate that we didn't really draw anything there. We're just going to do the same play. I guess, man, I always forget that. This doesn't do anything because they enter at the same time. I should have got 3-Win Inspector. I was thinking about 3-Win Inspector. I always forget that Dauntless Bodyguard does not trigger they enter at the same time off of collected company. He's just destroying my dudes. All right, now we can actually do things here. Let's go ahead and get in for 2. We're gonna play the General's Enforcer, and then pass the turn. We're showing collected company mana, but we're also showing mana for now he's out of cards. He used up his absorb. We'll just pass the turn. Now the reason why we didn't do anything there is because we're gonna try to collected company on his turn. He could have, okay, he showed us that he didn't have anything. We're gonna let him do this. We're gonna let all of this stuff resolve. Let him pick all of his things. Okay. And so now with this on the stack, we're gonna go ahead and let this resolve. We can let him draw a card. You don't want to give him information. He might be like, oh, well, what is he gonna do? He has no mana. He can't actually do anything to us. This is where we get to do fun things. I'm gonna play Extraction Specialist and Adeline. Extraction Specialist brings back General Enforcer, which keeps our guy alive. This will make Adeline a 5 power. That is even better. Did we kill them right here? 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. We sure do. And play the Brutal Cathar, take the Yorion, and then swing. Oh, I forgot that. 9. Yeah, I still life. I counted the General Enforcer, but I wasn't supposed to, because he can't attack because of the Extraction Specialist. Ooh. That could have been really bad for us. I'm gonna bring in the Kite Sails, the Thalias. We're gonna slowly take some of these cards out. I don't really like the Luminarch when we're bringing in all of this hate against them. We could also bring in Valorous Stance to keep our creatures like indestructible. I think I am going to take out 1 Kudro. And I think I'm going to take out 1 of each of these. I guess Kudro is really good with General Enforcer, though. I guess we could drop out 1 Brutal Cathar and keep the Kudro. We're just kind of shaving some cards down to keep interaction, but still do damage. I'm looking at Outland Liberator. They were playing enchantments to remove our creatures. So yeah, I think I will drop 1 Kudro. Maybe 1 more Cathar. I think we'll drop 1 Adeline. We don't want all of these legendary creatures. I mean, we have a bunch of legendaries in our deck anyway. Just trying to play 1 and keep it alive is the main goal. Play Enforcer, keep it alive. Can't Supreme Verdict us. He can't use any of his destruction spells. This hand is really slow. We can try this hand. This is probably not a good hand to keep. That makes it a lot better. This on Human with Raven Inspector. Kind of hoping for our deck to play off well and give us some good cards off the top. Another collected company. That's a good spot to be in. I guess what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play the General Enforcer. Put this on human, and we'll swing. There, Enforcer. Now, we don't have any legendary creatures, but it's just kind of like forcing him to do things. Okay, so we put that in his hand. Oh, that's interesting. We're actually just going to attack. 2. Because we can find 1-drops, I'm going to actually activate this, make it look like we're missing things. Kite Sail Freebooter, that would have been nice to have. We're going to put in a Overgrown Tomb. Supreme Verdict. Ouch. The pain. That's an interesting play, considering we can actually just do this in the back. Let's see what he's got going on. Another Supreme Verdict. We're just going to go ahead and take the Supreme Verdict. He's not really doing anything else. And we know that that's kind of like the safe play here. We'll just decline. He's got the Shark Typhoon. He can block this. It costs a 1 blue, 1 colorless, and then X. So he can make a 3/3. Wouldn't mind forcing that action. It is very, very risky forcing that action. Let's force it. This is one of those like on the seat of your pants kind of plays. If he does this, then he may know like, oh, okay, he's got collected company. All right, cool. Here's the X3. We're gonna resolve that, and we're gonna hope for a good collected company here. That's actually pretty good. We keep our guy around, make him 3. So we have to take both. We can't take Kite Sail. We take both of these. I guess I should have let him block first. Because now he might not. Now he's probably not going to block. Okay, he's going to block to save the damage. Okay, fair enough. And then we're going to play a land here. Now we're in a nice spot where we're actually just going to keep plussing with King Darian. We're not going to do anything else. We're just going to create tokens. Make it to where if he Supreme Verdicts us again, we're just gonna have a bunch of tokens left laying around. Oh, he marched him to get the Supreme Verdict back. Okay, so we know it's coming. Sure. Yeah, my turn. Another collected company. Wow, the companies are collected here. Now we know he has Supreme Verdict in his hand, which kind of puts us in a spot where it's like, you know, if we collected company into nothing, we're gonna just lose a ton of value. We have a lot of hits. Dauntless Bodyguards, all of our stuff keeps us in the game. The question is does he Supreme Verdict or not? And that's the question. He is going to Supreme Verdict, and he has Counterspell ready. Bart coming in with a raid, my friend. Hey, what's up, Bart? We're debating on a collected company here. We're gonna do it. We're going ballsy here. This could end us, or this could be really good. Does he have another counterspell? I don't think he does. If he did, he just snaps it off. There's no reason to like wait. Okay, he had the veto. Can't do anything here. Sure, we're just gonna lose everything. Okay, it is what it is. We went hard, and we probably shouldn't have. And that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and play our Outland Liberator, and then we're gonna play nothing else. Just end the turn. We got another collected company ready to go. It's going good, Bart. It is going good, man. We're 1-0 right now, playing against this control deck. We're up a game. Playing the Yorion. The old Sky Noodle. He's going to bounce his card. And go ahead and try to draw some cards. I think what we're going to do here is when this comes in, we're just going to go ahead and do another collected company. And we're going to try to get around it. We don't want him to veto us. Okay. Got these. Put this in the Liberator. Liberator gets to stay around this time. We have a Brutal Cathar to take his stuff from him. This is lethal. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, not lethal. You mean another creature off the top. Didn't get it. We're going to put him to 1. Brutal Cathar, take the Yorion. Take the swings. It does get around Supreme Verdict, though, because Dauntless Bodyguard can keep Outland Liberator alive. So he needs another Supreme Verdict. And then we just sack the Dauntless Bodyguard. Okay. The whole... Who's he going to take? I mean, I would take Yorion, to be honest with you. I would take the Brutal Cathar, to be honest with you. Maybe I should have killed the portable hole instead. In case he tries to bounce it. Six swings. Because he can actually still get out of this, I think. Exiles, gets back the Yorion.
Kamigawa, and I will protect my people.
No, this doesn't. So, yeah, it still kills him. They're both 3s.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Got him. Ranked up again. Platinum 3. We go to game 3. We are currently 2-0. Looks like we're playing a Teferi again. This usually indicates to me that they're playing a control deck. This is actually a pretty decent hand against the control deck, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this. They mulliganed. They're Temple Garden here. We'll see what they do. Look, blue-white. This is, like I said, this usually indicates that they're playing the exact style deck that I mentioned. We're going to play a Thalia's Lieutenant. Don't really have anything going on here. See if they want to remove it. They chose not to. Understandable. This one human. I believe what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually play around Censor. Let's not play around Fatal Push, but they didn't have anything. Okay. Hey man, you know, sometimes you don't have it. They still didn't play anything. Okay. I think on this part we're just going to play... We could play General Kudrow and start pushing damage. This lines up with Supreme Verdict very well. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about as I'm looking at the board. I could play the Aspirant, just put counters out. Keep Kudrow on the back. Just in case if we need to do something with him. For mana, I think I'm actually just going to play Kudrow. I should have played my land first. I didn't play against Censor this time. There's another green source. 8. So this is lethal without Supreme Verdict, and I'm sure they have it. They don't. They didn't play Supreme Verdict. Okay. I think I'm just gonna play Aspirant here. This is lethal on the board as is. Really don't need to commit anything else to the board. They're gonna remove something. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play this. If they want to absorb, okay, you can put the counter on Lieutenant. This makes it to where they can't use the one spell that deals 4 damage. They can kill Kudrow, but okay, they can do this with the Wandering Emperor. Still gonna put them down. Like if they take out this,
you'll be safer.
Sure. It's still lethal?
You're done.
Okay. Now they're gonna Supreme Verdict. Creating the 1/1 or the 2/2.
Good. May your
Well, they're not gonna Supreme Verdict because if they were do that beforehand. You get a Wandering Emperor again. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play Brutal Cathar. Get rid of their blocker. Create a bunch of lethal attackers. We're gonna put the 1 point on the Luminarch. We're gonna put it on itself. This means they have to kill all 3 creatures. If they can kill 1, maybe 2. They can kill 2.
I hope you're ready to lose.
Gain 2. Sure. They're hanging on.
My judgment
They're hanging on. They can create another 2/2. I think they would Supreme Verdict first, okay? Fairy. Fairy bounce. Okay. And then to Fairy, give this. Yep. Exactly what we were thinking that was going to happen. In this boat, we can play Extraction Specialist, get back Thalia's Lieutenants. That makes Brutal Cathar a lethal attacker. Yep. Question is do we go after Teferi? Give them 1 less draw? I think so. I think they're going to block either way. If we put it into their face, we put it into Teferi. They're going to block either way. This gives them an out to drawing again for another Supreme Verdict.
No time for a break.
They draw it. I don't think there are ways still. Okay, they can minus. Still on Supreme Verdict. They draw it. They win a bunch of cards in. They didn't immediately hit it, or else they would just Supreme Verdict. There is no outs to this. Especially because we can play another Thalia's Lieutenant from our hand and they're just dead. Fatal Push does not do it. They have to have multiple spells here to get around what we're about to do. They can absorb. So let's see here. They can go absorb. That gives them 5. They Fatal Push 1. So 2 cards in their hand. Absorb, Fatal Push. So they go absorb on this. Go to 5. Kill this one. That puts them to 1. Doing it that way. We can play Kudrow and pump the entire team. Same effect, but we won't lose the Lieutenant. This is more mana efficient. So we're just going to go here. If they have Absorb in their hand. Okay, we didn't. We'll just exile a Wandering Emperor, I guess. They can. I think the only card that gets them out of this is Settle the Wreckage. They could have 2 Fatal Pushes, I guess. I'm going to put them on it. Show it to me. I guess they can block and then Fatal Push. Does it play? Yep. Oh, they didn't tap right. Oh, I guess they can tap the Hive Mind. Yeah, they can tap the Hive Tyrant. The Fatal Push. Okay, they actually showed us another card. Surprised. Gain 5, all right. They're still in it.
Keep
They
up
have-
the pace.
They get to look at 5 more cards here. And they draw 1, and then they get Narset for another
and
Supreme
prepare.
Verdict. Liliana. Liliana minus is good.
Warrior Queen Necromancer.
We
Never
sacrificed
death,
2.
never
What do they
hurt
have
anyone.
left? Oops. They have 1 white mana left. This is attached to the Thalia's Lieutenant. They can Fatal Push our last card. They untap with the black. We'll Fatal Push, sure. This is the problem with the Teferi. Like, if we had this, we knew that this could be a potential problem from the beginning. In this case, what we're going to do here is we're going to do Illuminarch and then Thalia's Lieutenant. Yo, DJ Blue coming in with that sub. What's up, my friend? Thank you so much. We'll put this on Lieutenant.
Let's skip to the good part.
Thank you so much for that, by the way, DJ Blue. Bring the 2-2.
Feels good, but
We're not out of the woods yet.
There are so many mysteries
So
to
hopefully we're
uncover.
gonna get there.
Thoughtfulness before
Trying.
action.
They're at 2. They gonna sacrifice a creature. Out for COVID. Oh no, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing better. Planeswalker control here. What we're dealing with. We already know they're gonna make a sack a creature. We're gonna go ahead and it has to be each opponent sacrifices a creature, okay? Oh yeah. Oops. I think we're just gonna send these. This is at 4. They're gonna draw a card off this too. Sure. I mean, there's no way around it. They're gonna block one and then make us sack the other one. It's like it doesn't matter. We're just gonna play it. I guess I should have played a card first because I could have sacked like the Kudrow. Oh no, I have long COVID. I did sacrifice a creature, dude. What is going on here? Oh no, we're waiting on the server. Great. I don't know what's happening. I think we've actually lost this game. We needed some spells a little bit ago. All right, I guess we're not completely just out of the game yet, but we're not in a good spot. And now we're lagging out, I guess. It's gonna make us skip our turn. We're not gonna get to play our creature like we wanted to. No, the stream's still on. Is it on? We went off too. Stream went down. Oh, it's back. We're still stuck in the game. I guess we're gonna concede this. I'm locked on the screen. I feel like this was a winnable game. And I don't know what to do. We're gonna close the game out, I guess. And see if we can get back in. We're gonna miss a turn. It's loading us back in. We'll see what happens. A bunch of stuff happened at one time.
Necromancer has a nice ring.
We're timing out, so discard a card. Oh, sure. we're just gonna concede this. Like, there's no reason to sit here. Like, we didn't even get to do what we were wanting to do. I'm actually just gonna concede this game. I don't particularly like playing against like just straight control matchups. It's really horrible, like especially when we were ahead. Yeah, whatever. I'll take the L. So we go into round 4. We are 2-1. We had some lag issues in the last game. I decided to just go ahead and concede. We weren't able to do what we wanted to do. We are playing against another Yorion deck. Gonna mulligan this. We don't have enough lands. Keep this one. This is fine. We can actually just bottom the plains. This does kind of let them know what we're doing, but it's alright. I'm probably playing against another control deck. That is typically what these decks are. The Yorion decks are one of two things. They're usually a control deck or like the Elementals bounce deck. I have seen one other deck that does something very similar, where they're just trying to take control of all of your creatures. So that could be what we're playing against here as well. Because they've already shown me like these counter spells, counter unless they pay 1. I'm actually just gonna play General Enforcer, and we're gonna swing in for 2. I would like to play Adeline here. This will really pump up Alia's Lieutenant, but we're gonna try to get another land and then play Adeline plus land. See, now they've got like counter magic. Hey, Narset, okay. See if they find that Supreme Verdict. That's what they're gonna be looking for. We literally just played against this deck. Exact same deck. They pull Supreme Verdict. Okay, they didn't. This is actually a good spot for us to drop our Adeline. Put this into play. Decline. We'll go to combat. So this guy's going here. This guy is going here. And then this guy, who's going to come out, is also going to come here. We'll get rid of the Narset.
My mind needs
And now if he
rest.
Supreme Verdicts, he actually only kills the Lieutenant and the 1/1. And General's Enforcer, because Adeline's going to be indestructible. And that was enough for him. Taps out. We're going to bring in our Kite Sail Freebooters. Kind of do the same plan that we've been doing. This deck tends to play a lot of the enchantments. I don't think I'm going to bring in Thalia's Lieutenant. Or, I mean, sorry, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben in this one. Nah, you know what? I do need to do that. We need to bring in Guardian of Thraben. It's just way too good to not have in this deck. Against this deck. Adeline is our card. We'll drop a Brutal Cathar, drop a General Kudrow, bring in 2, and then I think I'm going to drop 1 more Thraben Inspector, and we'll bring in another one. Bring in the other Thalia. Why do I have 61 cards? Oh, I didn't drop the General Kudrow. Got it. There we go. We'll play it this way. Game 2 of this one. See if we can get another good, decent starting hand. Did mulligan down on that last one. Still had a pretty good hand to get going. Kite Sail Freebooter with a bunch of backup. We'll keep this. It's a solid starting hand. No 1-drop. That's okay. We did take some of our 1-drops now. See if they do anything. They probably won't. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play Guardian of Thraben first. And it sounds kind of silly, but they have showed us like Censor and stuff like that. Those spells. Wow. Didn't get it. I mean, they can still kill it. I think they have spells to do it. But we're going to put it on them to do it now. Make it much harder. Next turn, we're going to Kite Sail Freebooter them. Are they going to try to... I don't know if too many 1 mana... There is a blue spell that puts this back in the hand. It would cost 2. I'm not sure if that's what they're considering. Okay. Marching. That doesn't... Oh, they exile a card. What they exile? Fateful Absent. Alright. They missed a land drop. Uh-oh. Now it's time to put our foot down. Playing kite sail. Take a look at the hand. Now, if they kill this, it doesn't matter. We still get to look at the hand. You just don't get to take a card. Okay. Good. We do get to take a card. I mean, Supreme Verdict would probably be really good to take, but we'll take this. But they get it right back. It just doesn't matter. Again, foretell this. Play it. Later. So we know if they foretell a card, they got a counterspell. Shark Typhoon. They're looking for a land. Did they find it? They did. They found it. They were in trouble. They needed that land. We're gonna go ahead and play this. I'm actually just gonna play Enforcer plus Lieutenant. We're not in a great spot here because they already have the portable hole to remove one of these 2 cards, which they'll probably take the Enforcer. They can Supreme Verdict, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like let's just say they take the Enforcer. Go ahead and foretell, put their foretell out. We can force the Supreme Verdict for next turn by playing Adeline. I think that's what I'm going to do because at this point we just kind of need to put pressure on the board. I'm not going to play the other Thalia because that's just asking for problems. We're just going to draw a card. This will let us kind of play into what they're doing. Yeah, we knew they're going to Supreme Verdict, so we still have that counter spell in hand. Right. Yeah. Ogre and Tomb. See here. I guess we're gonna go ahead and play this to get it out. You know what? I think I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Kudo. When I kind of see like, well, what do you want to remove? You know, like, do you want to get rid of the King Darien or do you want to get rid of the Kudro? The correct answer here is Kudro. Kudro creates tokens because he can bounce one of these cards. Kudro can exile cards, but oh wow, he didn't.
You know what? I'm not.
That's not at all what I was expecting. We're actually just not going to play Lieutenant. We could, but he can counter it. We're just going to send everybody to Fairy. Just get that off the board.
Really should have seen that coming.
Play our land. What we can do now is we can actually put a counter on King Darien, and then we're going to start creating humans, or we're going to create soldiers, which we can sack King Darien for to make them indestructible. Okay, sure. These are plays that we expect. Yeah, 5, so we're going to just go ahead and let's crack the clue first. What do we get here? Draw a card, draw land. Great. And we'll put a counter on him. And then create a 1/1. Draw another land. Great. Send him at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 3. We'll just decline. In the turn. So now if he does a Supreme Verdict, what we can do is we can actually sack King Darien to keep the little 2/2s. And he's actually going to kill King Darien. He's going to minus.
Now you've done it.
He might plus.
That's coming off.
Okay. We're actually not going to let that happen. We're going to do this. And then we're going to sack King Darien. Make sure he doesn't gain 2 life. Elected company. That's good. Unfortunately, these aren't humans. I don't think it gets much better than this. They are tapped out. We're going to go ahead and take the Outland Liberator and the Kitesail Freebooter. Kitesail gets to take a look at the hand. Farewell. Or goodbye. That's right. We'll put 1 into them and 1 into the Wandering Emperor.
I'm never done for good.
And win the turn. Now we could play Thalia to start pumping up the stuff here. Playing the portable hole. Sure. What are we taking here? Liberator? I would take the Liberator. Ooh, and they tapped out. That was it. They couldn't do it. We were actually going to sack in response and destroy the one that they didn't pick. They picked Liberator. So, good game there. Good game. Here we go. Round 5. We are 3-1 currently. We did have to concede the game that was lagging out. I don't know what happened there, but we were playing against control deck. Short on time today, so we weren't trying to play out that game. This hand is really slow. We don't know what we're playing against. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. A mulligan, that's good for us. If they mulligan again. I hope that they don't start off with blue-white, because that's been like every deck that we played today. See though. I'd like to get a good turn 2 play. Look at this. Thoughtseize incoming. Ouch. Here it is. Thoughtseize. What are they going to take? They're going to take Coco or Adeline. I don't think that they're going to take General Kudrow, but they could be playing a Cruxa deck. They need to get rid of that General Kudrow. They take the General Kudrow. That's understandable because if they are playing a Cruxa deck, General Kudrow typically runs away with the game. He eats their graveyard. Could be seeing some Grease Fang variant. They also could have another Thoughtseize. They sure do. There's the Collected Company. Goodbye, Collected Company. Name it on human. Play Adeline here. This is going to come in. We're just going to swing for 2. Get an extra little dude here. They're definitely going to want to remove Adeline. Don't know. Bedevil. Wow. All right. Bedevil's a card. Look at this. Elected Company off the top, though. Well, let's just go for it. Yeah, we're going to take cards from them. They didn't like that Kudrow the first time. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and take that from them. There it is. And they tapped out. They tapped out. Most of these decks are playing some sort of Cruxa plan. I would like to bring in Unlicensed Hearse, but we have so many, like, this exiles cards from their graveyard, this exiles cards from their graveyard. We're just going to bring in the freebooters. We're going to shave down. Shave down like that. I'm going to keep 1 aspirin in. This can break up the mirrors sometimes, like if we both go mid-range. If we see anything crazy, we can always bring in Valorous Stance. Take out their creatures, like Shieldbrid and stuff like that. Is what I'm concerned about. We don't know if they're playing the small variant or the larger variant of this deck. The Rakdos mid-range decks can play 2 different ways. They can play like the Cat Oven, where they're playing Cruxas and a bunch of 1s and 2s. Or they can play like a much bigger version of the deck where they're playing like what they showed us there with the Bedevil. and Shieldred. So we're unsure. They could be playing a mix. So we're going to play it as is and see if we can get there. Bringing in some hand hate to get rid of their removal spells is definitely going to be our game plan here. And we have it. We have a pretty decent hand here. We're actually going to go ahead and keep this. I don't typically like playing Dauntless Bodyguard by itself. Since we have the Kitesail Freebooter in our hand, we're actually going to protect it. And because they left this up, that indicates to me that they have Fatal Push for the first turns of the game. Keep shocking. In this situation, we're not really too worried about anything, so I'm just going to get rid of the land here. We'll take 3. That's fine. Play our Kitesail. I'd like to Dauntless Bodyguard this immediately so that we can stop them from removing things. Because, yeah, they have just... This is removal.deck right now. We're going to take the Liliana. Make them Fatal Push it, and then they can't take the... They have to use the Liliana next turn. They have to wait a turn to cast it. Oh, wow. Oh, they playing a creature. All right. That might have been a mistake for them. They can sacrifice their creature. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually just play Dauntless Bodyguard, and we're going to protect Kitesail Freebooter, and we'll play a General Enforcer, and then we are going to swing in the air for 1. And the reason why we're doing this is because this makes it to where if they Fatal Push and then play like Liliana, we still have like ways to keep our Kitesail Freebooter around. It might force them to go in a different direction. They also could sack their Harvester to kill Kitesail Freebooter, which then just puts us a 1-up. Yeah. We think we're going to do that. It'll push our guy. The land drops that they're missing is hurting them badly. They do have a lot of stuff going on here. We're just going to make our guy indestructible just in case. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do here. All right, swinging for 3. All right. Wow, we got a specialist. There's 2 ways we can play here. We can just go ahead and Collected Company and start pushing, or we can bring back some of our guys here. We could also Brutal Cathar, take this from them. And if they don't play anything next turn, I mean, they can stomp. No matter what, they can always stomp. Because they have 2 mana to stomp with. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring back Dauntless Bodyguard. I'm going to keep him off of Liliana. Play this. We don't want to have to worry about the discard effect. I mean, they can do it. They can sacrifice our creature and then make us discard a card. Which we'll discard Brutal Cathar. Sure. If we discard Brutal Cathar, then we'll just Collected Company, you know? So it's... Turn. Alright. Now, we don't want to sit here for too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and Collected Company and try to get rid of cards. We double Thalia's Lieutenant here. We can get Cruxa off the board as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to go Kudro and Thalia's Lieutenant. I'm going to eat the Cruxa. We'll eat the Fatal Push. 15. Swing for 7. Here we go. And they tapped out. That's all they can handle. Understandable. They were trying to play back to that Cruxa, and we're going to start eating their graveyard, so. Good games, good games. 4-1 today is what we made it out to be.